I was born into a subsistence peasant community. So everyone grew everything they needed. Besides, they didn't grow coffee because they couldn't. This is in the central hills of Portugal, right in the middle of the country. Looks a lot like here. For a kid, it was great. For the adults, it wasn't so great because there was this fascist regime that had a very strong hold on Portugal. People were intentionally kept ignorant. All of my grandparents were illiterate. My father and mother both have 4th grade educations. They have their little 4th grade certificates. My peers who have not immigrated have 4th grade certificates. Their children have now gone on to high school and college, but when I was there, my generation didn't have those opportunities unless you had money. That was a major reason for my dad. My dad was uneducated but really intelligent, very entrepreneurial, started a lot of little businesses, didn't seem to know how to make them work, but then there was also always this quiet pressure of that regime. And he worked for about 5 years to get us out of the country. When I was 7, he finally managed to do it. So coming here reversed the roles in my family. I'm the oldest child. I learned English really fast. So then I became a bridge. My dad, who was really strong and toppled trees and did all of that work, was suddenly very infant-like. He didn't know the words. He became a little bit shy, almost. And I was called upon all the time. Within a few months, I could understand things, and even though I was so small. So for me, it was really hard. And I still have that struggle in me. That's where my art comes from. So in a way, that's a good thing. It's sort of what fuels my creativity a lot. But people were very welcoming. We moved to Peabody, Massachusetts, and there was already a young immigrant community there, mostly from the Azores, and I came from the mainland. And there is a little rift between those two communities, but overall, people were very welcoming and came and showed us how to be there. This is how you do things here. I understand community, and I build community all the time, and I build bridges across communities in my work, in my daily life. And I often think that the rootedness I feel in that particular place on earth and the way people live there has a lot to do with the way I think, even politically, right? I mean, what's going on right now is making me absolutely insane because it's so single-minded, so selfish. In my childhood, you would go and plant Victor's potatoes. Everyone would show up and plant his potatoes. And then everyone would show up and plant that one's potatoes. And then the harvest would be the same, and there was always a community meal. One of the reasons that it was very hard for me, traumatic for me, we moved to Peabody, as I said, and it was the reason we moved there is because the people who were supporting us were there, but also there was a lot of work there still in the early 60s. Shoe tanneries, leather tanneries. Now they're all turned to condos. But my dad worked in a tannery as an unskilled worker. He had full health insurance for a family of 5. We paid $12 for our 5-room apartment rent. And he could save money to send us back to Portugal in the summer. Where have we experienced any situation where shutting down and closing up gets rid of fear? I mean, it doesn't. You need to open, let people in, learn from them, make connections, right? That kind of intermingling is positive.